Hello. You might have noticed that I'm very passionate about using podcasts and audiobooks to help you escape the plateau because that's what worked for me, that's what I see working for my students. I've been stuck on the intermediate plateau for a long time. I know how it feels, and I have escaped. Now I enjoy the freedom of mastering the language, of being able to communicate with native speakers on equal terms, of understanding people regardless of accents and things like this. So that's what I'm passionate about. So I'm all the time teaching you how to use podcasts to improve your English. I tell you, try to listen to authentic podcasts, to podcasts that are not made for English learners. Of course, there are the exceptions. There are some good podcasts for English learners, but they are not the majority. So I teach you how to use transcripts with authentic podcasts to improve your listening, to acquire vocabulary and so on. But that might be the case that these tools are still a bit too challenging for you. So you might not be ready to listen to podcasts yet in this way. So what can you do? Because it's very important that you enjoy your time. Enjoy the time you spend with English. So there are things you can do. One thing I'd like to tell you is about graded readers, which are books whose titles are original titles like A Christmas Carol, A Tale of Two Cities, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Okay, but these books are not the unabridged version. They are not the full complete version as the writer has written it. They are adapted for English learners. They are adapted to many levels, many different levels. So, for example, I don't have both versions of the same title, but I have here A Graded Readers by Charles Dickens, and I have an abridged version. This is another title. This is Great Expectations. This is A Tale of Two Cities. But the point is, spot the difference. Okay, so this book is great. The story is good, but the language is challenging. It's advanced. It's even a bit old-fashioned. So it's challenging, but you can enjoy the same story if you get a graded reader. You see, graded readers were not written for language learners, they were adapted, so the stories are really good. So you can enjoy novels as any native speaker, but you won't get the original text, but you get a taste of this story. So to let you know all the options you have with graded readers. You have the graded readers based on novels, as I've shown you. You have graded readers based on TV series episodes, like these ones, based on the TV series Sherlock. And it's very interesting because you have the pictures of the actors here. There's some information, like some comparisons between the original story and his adaptation. So it's really interesting, You're not advanced yet, but you can enjoy. You can't watch these without subtitles. You won't be able because the main character speaks far too quick. But you can enjoy the audiobook. There are also graded readers based on films. Pink Panther 2, The Golden Compass. So what's good about graded readers is that they are adapted to each level. So, for example, this publisher, Macmillan Readers, has a collection of 6 levels, okay, and here they show the correspondence with the Common European Framework of Reference. For example, this book is number 2 in their collection. A number 2 beginner corresponds to the level A1 in the CEFR. Okay, so you can buy a book that's suitable to your level. Okay, Oh, okay, there's something else that's very useful for language learners, and some people kind of underestimate them. Comic books, okay? Or if you don't want to sound childish, you can call them graphic novels. Anyways, the advantage is the language is not graded. They were written for native speakers. But because of the images, because of the pictures, you get the context, and even though there might be many words that you don't know, many phrases, many expressions, you won't get lost, you won't get stuck, you will be able to move on and enjoy the story. That's very important. You have to enjoy the story. I don't have comic books because I'm an adult, but I do have comic strips. Again, comic strips. Have you heard about that? Peanuts, Snoopy, Charlie Brown. So, comic strips were not written, they were written for adults, okay? But although the language is authentic, it's real English, you don't have a lot of language in the same piece of story, if you know what I mean. So, you have a lot of images to give you the context, okay? So you won't feel overwhelmed by the language that you don't understand. But anyways, it's very useful language because it's real language, it's real English. So, by the way, the other day I was listening to Luke's English podcast, which is an excellent podcast for English learners. And Luke was sharing with his audience his experience learning French, because he lives in France. And he's struggling, and he was telling his audience his struggles. But one thing that's helping him a lot is reading graphic novels in French, because for one, he likes graphic novels, he reads graphic novels in English, so it's something that he does, it's meaningful to him. And the images help him get the sense of the story and move on and not feel stuck. So don't underestimate comic books or graphic novels. You also have the option of graded readers and comic strips. So that's it. If you're not able yet to listen to podcasts, audiobooks, radio shows, you can read this material. It will help you get vocabulary. It won't help you with your listening skills, unfortunately. That's why you shouldn't give up on podcasts. In my guide, Plateau Escape, I recommend some podcasts for lower levels. One of them is the British Council Elementary podcasts. They are good for pre-intermediate students, so don't give up on doing some listening, okay? And always try to find something that's a bit challenging, okay? Don't get too comfortable in your English practice. Alright, so that's it for today. Bye!